Chris Brintle. Chris Brintle.
Newsradio 1270, 106.7 KIML. Chris Brintle joining us. You might not have even seen this yet. Federal court has basically said it's okay to cheat in the NFL. Tom Brady's 4-game suspension overturned.
Wow, that's recent news.
Yeah, I mean, it's just within...
Like minutes.
Within the past 10 minutes, yeah.
Wow.
There's no details on what legal justification there is for this, because there probably is none. He just didn't want to deal with it. Seriously, I mean, does the league have any authority to suspend anyone for anything at this point?
You know, once it starts going to court, I mean, I had a feeling this was going to happen just for the simple fact that who's doing the NFL's doing the investigating. Proof-wise, I'm not sure. They have enough, to my estimate, to suspend him.
Yeah.
But at the same time, they don't have enough to really prove it in court. And there's a difference there. You have to prove to a judge that beyond a shadow of a doubt, Tom Brady did that.
It's not a criminal case.
It's not a criminal. Well, you don't have to prove. It's not like a murder case, but at the same time, you need something.
A civil case, preponderance of the evidence is enough. 51%. That's the number they like to use. If 51% of the evidence shows that you're guilty, you're guilty.
I'm not so sure they had 51%.
The balls were deflated. Text messages. He destroyed his phone. I mean, this guy.
There's no sufficient proof that he did this when it comes to the court. The 51% thing. I mean, I think, let's just put it in this perspective. They probably shouldn't have punished an individual player. They probably should have just kept the punishments to New England because, I mean, I don't think that's going to go to court. Those punishments are going to stand.
Well,
but an individual player, they didn't prove 51% of it in court. I'm sorry, they just didn't.
I bet you anything. The Patriots take that to court now. The draft picks, especially the draft picks, they've been emboldened. They can cheat and get away with it. So yeah, they'll probably go after those draft picks and get them back, because again, the NFL has absolutely no control over its own people. The players' union's running wild. The fact that this ended up in a federal court is ridiculous enough. That they have no control, absolutely no control over their own people.
You make good point. I agree with you on that point. I agree with you. The fact that it was in court to me is ridiculous. At the same time, it made it to court, and I knew this would happen. I knew that something would happen. They would either have to take the suspension down, or they would just nullify it because they picked an individual player out, and it's hard to prove that. It's hard to prove that he had anything to do or everything to do with deflating the footballs.
Oh, here's the worst part of this. New England Patriots fans are going to be the worst part of this.
I agree.
They're already, I'm looking at it right now, they're already unbearable, saying that, the Patriots never cheat, despite the fact they've been caught cheating many times. They think that this is a justification for them to deny that Spygate ever happened. Because of this, it's a conspiracy against the team that's won the Super Bowl the most. The New England Patriots are part of the league. The league is owned by the owners. I mean, there is no conspiracy against the New England Patriots to keep Tom Brady off the field. He's one of their top players. They didn't want to do this.
Right.
They didn't want to take Tom Brady out. But again, and you're going to have I don't know if I can. Let me see if I can find it. He had a host from Boston station WEEI saying on TV yesterday that someone should murder Roger Goodell. Let's see if I can find that.
That's a horrible statement.
Yeah, here it is. Here it is. Of course, there's no. Of course, there's no clip here. Let me see if I can find it. Okay, well, for some reason, I don't know why, but this Boston sports radio host has me blocked on Twitter.
Interesting.
Okay, let me see if I can. It's the guy that
What did you do this time, DC?
I must have told him what a jerk he was. I don't know. Let me see if I can find Let me see if I can find. Because I got it from another guy. Yeah, I have no idea why that guy had me blocked. I've never even heard of him.
Don't you think, though, it kind of would have been a joke if the court would have upheld it?
No.
Based on the evidence?
No.
I mean, what evidence do we really have?
He broke his phone.
That's it?
That's all the evidence you need.
That's not all the evidence you need.
Okay, here's this is Kirk Minahan.
I don't want you on a jury.
Well, you don't want me on a criminal jury. Okay, here's Kirk Minahan. He's a Boston sports talk host. He was on CSN New England.
There's no chance that this guy's contract
4 years from now? Wow, what a power move. After Goodell makes another $150 million? Great, fantastic. With a win.
Well, okay. Well, what else do you do, my friend? How are you going to get him out? He's got to get the other owners.
You hire someone to murder him.
No, okay.
He's a rich guy.
They're talking about how they're going to get rid of Roger Goodell. Hire someone to murder him. That's the level of discourse that you have in Boston media. And
no, I think it was a failed attempt at a joke.
Obviously, it was a joke. But, I mean, if I said that or you said that, we'd get fired in a minute.
Probably so.
Yeah.
I'm not going to take the chance and say that.
If I went on TV and said Roger Goodell should be murdered, I'd get fired. This guy will probably get a raise because Boston is full of knuckleheads.
Okay, now wait a minute, DC. I'm going to call you out on a couple things here. I just don't think that if this were Joe Flacco, you would be this outraged. So I think your hatred for the New England Patriots has made you irrational on this whole thing.
Well, I hate them because they cheat.
But you've always hated them. I mean, that's just
because they cheat. I mean, I don't really have anything.
Like I've said from the beginning of this case, this is no different than a pitcher that's you putting Vaseline in his hair. Sure, it's cheating, but it's a kind of a minor infraction.
Yeah, but when pitchers get caught with an emery board in their glove,
they lose one start
and they take their suspension like a man.
But they lose one start out of 32, not 4 starts out of 16.
Yeah, but I mean, maybe it was a little bit of a tough. But they've been caught cheating before. That's why it was such a tough.
That's why it was such a tough penalty. Yeah. But I mean, for them to single out one player. And like I said before, I don't think it should have gone to court, and I do think the players' union. I think this does. Your points are well taken that this brings up other issues because now you're right. It's going to be tougher to keep suspensions on players because they know they can take it to court. However, in this case, there's just not enough proof that Tom Brady did this, and in no court in this country would they have upheld this suspension if it got to that point.
Well, no court in the country should have even taken this case for. I assume it was a contract case. You know, it was probably a contract law case.
I think that's probably the best point of this whole thing.
I assume that's the justification for taking it to court. Yeah. It was probably, in the CBA. What the owners need to do after this. And I know Bob Kraft isn't going to help out, and that's probably why it will never happen because Bob Kraft is one of the guys that runs the NFL. Bob Kraft, Jimmy Jones, couple other of the high profile owners are the ones that really run the NFL. But what the owners need to do is they need to make sure in the next collective bargaining agreement that there are specified punishments for specified offenses. They can't allow people to just go to court when they don't agree with their suspension, and it's going to happen again. I mean, this opens the door for every drug suspension for, say, let's use an instance of, say, a player for the Broncos or the Seahawks gets a drug suspension for pot, where it's legal in Colorado and Washington State. They get suspended for pot. Now, it's a legal substance in those states.
But it's against NFL rules.
It's against NFL rules, but why wouldn't they take it to court?
Well, I don't know, but there's probably in a police report. There's probably sufficient evidence that they smoked it or had paraphernalia on them.
It's not illegal. I mean, say they fail a drug test, and they fail a drug test. Now,
a failed drug test is probably good enough to prove that they.
Yeah, they broke. But why not take it to court? It's worth it at this point.
Yeah,
I mean, say.
But I think it's apples and oranges. I mean, you fail a drug test, and that's against NFL rules. The judge is going to look at it and say, hey, that's against your company's rules. I'll upheld the suspension. There's no proof like that in this case.
Deflating footballs and not cooperating with an investigation also against NFL rules.
Come on. I mean, your only proof is he broke his cell phone. And what did the text messages say?
You know he did it. You know he did it.
So that's what judges are supposed to do. Oh, I know he did it. He broke a cell phone.
No, what the judge is supposed to do is say, get the hell out of my courtroom with this.
That's your best.
I have important things. I have people that I have to send to federal prison for terrorism or something. I mean, this should have never been in a federal courtroom, and any judge that takes it is an embarrassment in the first place.
I can't argue with that point.
Yeah, I mean,
we agree there.
The whole thing was just stupid. I mean, the good news is it'll finally go away now.
I'll go back to what I said. I don't care about Tom Brady deflating football. I don't care about the decision. Yeah. This is all caused because the freaking Seattle Seahawks did not give the ball to Marshawn Lynch. Because if the Patriots don't win the Super Bowl, I don't care about any of this. But they won because the Seahawks called that play.
The only thing you can hope for is the Patriots go 0-4 with Brady. And that would be the ultimate satisfaction from all this. What do we have going on in sports?
Coming up besides in sports, this might be coming later. Coming up in sports, I believe we have a bunch of Wright Panther news.
Okay, we'll see you tomorrow. Newsradio 1270 1067 KIML.
The show's so big it couldn't fit on one frequency. Don Carpenter on Newsradio 1270 and 1067 KIML. 7 KIML. 7